At the heart of an industrial revolution is an innovation that changes everything. Building AI Boston sees artificial intelligence as a renaissance. From the heart of innovation and the mecca of tech learning, we bring you AI for Real People, a conversation for everyone. Our guest today is Andie Dovgan. He's the Chief Growth Officer at Creatio. Andie's played a central role in Creatio's growth into a leading agentic platform for workflow automation and CRM. Having been with Creatio since its early days, he's contributed to many of the company's major milestones, including its $200 million funding round that brought the company's valuation to $1.2 billion. Today, we're discussing the evolving role of AI and no-code on the future of work and business growth. Welcome to the show, Andie.
That was a very sweet introduction, and thank you so much for having me.
We're really excited, and we're happy to celebrate your success with Creatio. You are, as they say, a unicorn. I don't think we've had one on, Cara. Is that true? I don't know. This is you've got a for the audience listening. Cara's holding up her unicorn, and Andie, thanks for the fun that we're going to have today in advance. We are going to talk a little bit about your success. I think most people, when they understand this is a victory for everyone. You are adding tremendous value to companies that want to adapt into the new world and want to value the human expertise in the job force. So we're going to break down a little bit about the AI hype today. But let's talk about something really basic out of the gate. What do you feel is the current state of AI in the business world?
Yeah. Again, thank you for the introduction. And you mentioned us being a unicorn, and a lot of organizations think about this as a big milestone. And here at Creatio, we feel like it's just a very, very beginning. And one of the reasons is AI and everything that AI is doing to the markets, to technology, and to organizations. And I really like a quote about technology and AI specifically, that we probably underestimate AI impact that we can achieve within the next couple of months, but we really we overestimate the impact, and we underestimate the impact we can get in a couple of years. And that's exactly what's happening. So we think about AI as an economy shift, very similar to what happened with cloud or, for example, the internet in general. AI is now introducing new business models. It's introducing something that is fundamentally different from what we experienced before. The fact that this is the first time in our history where human workers are working alongside digital talent. And this never happened before. And that's not just a technological trend. And I think that those organizations that think about this as a technological trend, they miss out on a lot of opportunities to reimagine their business. So there's just a lot of stuff that is going on. I know there is a lot of hype in media specifically about AI, driven by tons of investments done in this space. But it's real. It's here. It's real. It's bigger than what we've seen before. And I think a lot of leaders and organizations need to take advantage of AI, because now we're seeing a lot of cases out there where companies went much beyond initial pilots, let's experiment, let's play, let's make it small, to a very transformational, super impactful examples of how AI is changing their workflows and the business in general.
Can you talk a little bit about what you think is AI hype and what's real when it comes to the business world?
I think that there are a lot of AI is a hot topic, right? And I think that a lot of people are over-rotated the topic of job replacements, and because it's a very emotional and very catchy set of topics where people will react. You cannot be you cannot ignore it and not engage into this conversation. And I think that it also plays into sometimes wrongful understanding of a potential impact that AI can bring to the table. So I think that if we just forget for a second about this kind of job apocalypse and replacements and just look at the practical sense, that's where the magic begins. So I would strongly encourage our audience and business leaders and technology leaders out there look at what can be achieved with AI now in regards to the current state of technology and where it can bring the biggest impact. And when we unpack it, we see a couple of kind of core scenarios. The first type of a scenario is when we use AI as, let's call it, an assistant. When I'm writing an email or I am working with a customer, I want AI to summarize all the history of this customer and give me an insight how to personalize my interaction. Or I don't have time to read through 100 pages of a document. I want it to be kind of bubbled up and summarized what is the key points and key takeaways for me. And those types of assistant use cases can be a very significant time saver. They can be a productivity booster. And I can tell a little bit about my experience now with the usage of AI in communications with customers and partners. And just with my team, I'm saving a lot of time. It's just much easier to do that with AI than without AI when it comes to this assistant mode. But usually, a lot of people mistakenly think that this is the only one application of AI in the real world. In reality, it's not. There is another flavor of AI. It's usually called Agentic AI, or we call it autonomous AI. The idea here is that you can delegate to AI a significant, if not the entire workflow within your organization. That by default, there are multiple workflows and tasks that AI can do better than human being, and vice versa. There are lots of different things that we can do much better than any machine, any technology, any robot. And if you know the nature of the kind of AI, you understand it's not a real intelligence. It has a lot of very interesting skills, but you cannot compare intelligence of AI with intelligence of a human worker, because by definition, those are two fundamentally different things. And the winners of the future are the ones who will understand how to combine both. So coming back to my point, the idea of autonomous agents is that you define use cases and areas within your business that you can delegate to AI that can go and execute a very significant workflows on its own. And usually those use cases are very niche, very specific, and related to specific verticals, because it's very difficult to do a strong agent that is very broad. It's much easier to do an agentic workflow that's very specialized and has a lot of domain knowledge, and it understands how to execute particular tasks. So moving ahead, I'll be sharing some examples, but in industries like financial services or manufacturing or even public services, there are a lot of use cases where organizations just spend colossal amount of time that can be done so much more efficiently. And this will end up releasing much more time for building real trust, real relationships, much better way of communication with customer, partner, and employee ecosystems.
Yeah, that's really a good way to break it down. And the agentic AI stuff is particularly fascinating because it can make us so much more efficient and sort of able to get so many more things done. So all of us on this call are marketing people, right? So we've all worked in the marketing space. So we have the pleasure of knowing very well what a CRM is, right? But one of the things we like to do on this show is break down, especially any acronyms. So for the audience out there who maybe doesn't know what that is, or why, your approach is kind of unique in using AI in this space is so interesting. Maybe just give like a very, very high level, what is a CRM and what kind of work does it do for businesses?
The CRM is an automation platform that allows you to really streamline your workflows related to core commercial functions: sales, marketing, and customer service. So if you're like a sizable business, like small business, medium, and of course enterprise, you need to organize your workflow. You need to organize your data. You need to make sure that you can keep track of all campaigns, all opportunities, all customer cases, and also, more importantly, automate a lot of those steps to free up time for your go-to-market teams. Historically, the promise of CRM was that it helps sales leaders, service leaders to be more productive. But also, CRM earned a little bit of a negative connotation, specifically within a lot of teams that were like focused on updating a lot of data in CRM and really using CRM as a tool where no, I need to keep my manager happy by entering data into the platform. And the way how Creatio reimagined this is that we allow business leaders to achieve two things. First, we allow to significantly reduce the kind of data entry element within interaction with the system, and significantly increase values that the user is getting. So you look at the CRM system and the ones that guides you, suggests you what is the next step you want to do, suggests you, like gives you an insights you haven't thought about, those types of things. So how can we like refactor this and focus on value to the end user? Because if you do so, then the user will be so much more productive, and the manager will be much happier, right? So that's
being driven by AI, right? And like
correct.
that's okay. So it's, you're not only sort of, you're practicing what you preach, so to speak. Like the way you act, your tool is actually built is using that agentic workflow and all that too.
Yes, and I'll give you a couple of simple examples to understand. Like we now have all sorts of different calls within our Zoom calls or Microsoft Teams or in email. And we have tons of information, and all of this data is so useful. So instead of me having a call with a customer, coming back to my CRM and updating all my records about what's my opportunity probability, what's my next step, what have I heard from this customer, let us take all of this transcripts and all emails, go through them, understand all the insights and highlights, and update all the systems, but also show me as a salesperson or a service person, where do I have gaps? And also let AI suggest me based on the best experience this company already has, what will be the next best action to overcome an objection? How can we really make this customer more satisfied? And AI can enable us to do that. So this is like a very important element in the interaction that changes the perspective and turns the table per se in regards to understanding of the value of technology. But there is a second element here. It's a no-code element and configurability, because for mid-size and larger customers specifically, a lot of organizations have a lot of unique processes. Some of those processes related to the industry, like by default, a distribution wholesale company will act very differently from a bank, right? And companies in different markets, due to regulations and other specifics, will act slightly different, even if they represent the same business domain and the same business industry. But then also each organization develops their secret sauce, like something that they do uniquely, something that really kind of embeds what is it that they add as a value within the process. And CRM is a digital DNA of this company to some degree. So you need to replicate your process digitally, and that's where no code comes to play. We allow organizations to configure their workflows and do that with a business in mind, and do that not through backlog of change requests where you need to go to IT and IT will take 6 months to change a couple of fields. We can empower people to come in, like I am as a business leader can be driving to work today and coming up with a new idea. So this is a new workflow or a new kind of business models that we want to launch. And my team can go and configure this using visual designers and now AI and natural language. And I can create those unique digital workflows using this no-code aspect. And those two things are allowing us to create first a really super positive experience for the end user that becomes so much more productive, so much more efficient. And secondly, it allows me to really go deep in regards to customizing and embedding my secret sauce and industry requirements and other requirements to make sure that it's not a cookie cutter approach for every single customer, because in that case, it's very limited to out-of-the-box functionality.
It seems like
sorry, go ahead, Anna.
It seems like part of your secret sauce is that you've helped people adopt, like you say, you've got this internal respect for. I've heard you talk about citizen coding, and I know that that's it may be outdated now, but within an organization, understanding workflows, and these are people that you've identified within the companies that you serve that can assist with this process and adapting it so it's not a cookie cutter product. I think that's another important element of what Creatio is doing. You're essentially like the UN interpreter for bringing people into this new world, and you've been so successful because you're not forcing workflows on people. I've personally run sales teams where somebody worked in Salesforce and somebody has been around since, radio was invented, and they're just adverse to anything. They don't even want to talk about CRM. So I think that's part of your success, is that you've identified key players and within an organization and been able to be very creative about that approach.
Correct. I think there are a couple of elements. I think that AI is forcing a lot of people to reimagine what they expect from business technology. And CRM and work automation is not something that is kind of stand aside. And also, based on a lot of different, I think, indicators, we can see that classical, large, traditional vendors, they're not really good with AI and ability to bring it very quickly to solutions. And the reason for that is because a lot of them have grown through acquisitions, created very difficult technological stacks. And now organizations that experience ChatGPT type of productivity, they expect the same from business applications, right? So they expect that my interaction with my business system will be very similar to my interaction with ChatGPT. Why it shouldn't be the same experience, right? Can I talk to my CRM instead of just going through these hundreds and hundreds of different fields, updating this, and if I haven't updated this field, I cannot move forward. So this is nonsense for 2025. So I think that this is driving a lot of change. And secondly, I think a lot of people want to be empowered. And nowadays, we see that technology is becoming a skill. Like way before, I think when I was a kid, it was like 30 years ago, probably 35 years ago, my father was taking pictures of me, and he was using this big equipment. He had this kind of big camera, and then he needed to hide in a big dark room to produce some of those pictures. And now, like a 5 years old can produce better pictures that my dad used to produce using iPhone, because we democratize access to this technology and empowered people to do things without special skills and knowledge, etc. And the same applies to business people. So by default, business teams, they don't want to go through a rigid process of I need to explain what I want, and I need to go through reviews, and I need to wait, and I get stuff that is delivered to me, and it still doesn't fit exactly what I wanted. Instead, I want to be empowered to come in and say, you know what, let me explain to the system exactly what I want, and let me go and iterate with AI as I'm developing a dashboard for myself, or developing a new workflow for myself, and kind of disregard those redundant and unnecessary steps. It doesn't mean that IT doesn't have a say in this, but their role will become fundamentally different as someone who will steward, coach, organize, orchestrate, but not necessarily deliver every single small thing to a person. Which, again, to my analogy with taking pictures, we do have more professional photographers now than we used to have, even though the skill became less expensive and it's easier to get a skill and make pictures. But in an evolved world, there is a place for everyone, but the function itself will be reimagined, in my opinion.
And it allows like deeper. So when you think about, instead of spending a lot of time on the data entry, which I don't think I've ever heard anyone say, gee, I wish I could do more data entry. Like nobody wants to do the data entry, right? Sorry, data entry people. But like it allows you to get to the insights much faster, right? So instead of spending your time, and I think about like in the medical field too, like we talk about that a lot. So yeah, that just seems like we're going to get deeper knowledge. Yeah,
absolutely. And I will give a couple of industry examples. And I will come back to my message about two flavors of AIs and ability to apply them in the right example. So let's take banks or credit unions, right? So it's a big field, it's a big economy. All of us, in one way or another, interact with our bank. So a good example with AI assistance will be, for example, I'm coming to my bank, but I have been a customer of this bank for years. And we work with one of wonderful credit unions in Indiana, and they told us an interesting story. They were showing us member records that are 20 years old. So they have notes about a member of their credit union that are 20 years old.
Wow.
Just a colossal amount of data. Good for them that everything is documented. But imagine you're meeting this customer tomorrow, like how are you gonna kind of prepare and understand like how to personalize it? You just, to some extent, you know too much. You know too much about this member. So we're using AI there just to take the most important information, also check it on based on the history and time. What was probably super relevant 10 years ago is not relevant anymore. So how can we really surface an insight and enable a relationship manager at a branch with a very with very small synapses of the data, but will be extremely impactful. And that's whereas they see a tremendous potential, right? So you get this information, and members are happy because they feel like their credit union knows about them and it's very relevant, but also it empowers relationship managers to have much more productive and relevant conversations, and also revert back to some of the conversations that happened before. So that's a great example of assistance. And then, but there are also some workflows that are ideal for agentic automation. I remember my personal experience going through mortgage approval and also mortgage underwriting. Oh my God, that was very painful. And every time when I talk about this with my customers in banking space, they all kind of give me the same facial expression. Like, if we can avoid it, we would like to avoid it. But AI now can really go and simplify and streamline this process. Like we already have AI agents in Creatio that will go to a customer and they will say, based on your type of a loan, it can be a commercial loan, it can be a mortgage, it can be a consumer loan. I need those 5 documents or 10 documents from you. And then AI can interact with the customer, read through all of those documents, make it very personal and relevant. So you're not dealing with 5-7 different people with whom you just share this document. They forgot, they haven't, it's just, you're avoiding all this back and forth. So it's a much better, quicker experience for the customer. And also we can use AI to go and scan all of those documents. Then for underwriting, prepare a pre-decision and say, like, those are 5 or 10 documents that we have collected. We have done it through AI, and we think that they're all legit and valid, but you take your call. So I think there's a great example where a bank or credit union can be so much more efficient in regards to how they interact within this process. They're given a much better experience to customer, and everyone wins because they also can streamline this workflow, and instead of a couple of weeks going through this process, they can potentially do that in a couple of days. And also AI can take some time and educate a customer where to get this document. Because for me, was some of the issues was just as a person who relocated to the US and to Boston specifically, like I was not aware of some documents. I never dealt with them before. So for me, it's also like I was a strange customer to some degree because I needed to ask a lot of different questions, and some of those questions were a little bit weird to someone who has been living here for a while. So, but there are a lot of examples of that nature, and AI can handle them much better.
So it's really interesting that you bring up these examples. I've worked in banking and I've also worked in law. Cara is an AI founder in legal justice. And I find that psychology so interesting because I can tell you, even working as a bank teller, it is a very highly emotional situation where people, they want the personal touch, and yet there's a lot of privacy issue there. So I think it's so interesting that you've struck this balance between creating a better experience, helping members of credit unions feel valued, which is why, let's face it, why people join credit unions. They want to feel like somebody knows them. But you've made this distinction between what AI can handle sort of on an impersonal and very speedy and get them through that process. It's very invasive to apply for a mortgage loan. And this is really interesting territory and really points out again what Creatio is so good at.
Yeah, it is, Anna. It is, Anna. And that's exactly why we take certain industries and we go very deep with those industries, and we set up specific custom agents that are going, like that are being predefined and ready to use for specific verticals, because they can deliver a much stronger value. Because the values that you can get with agentic AI is very strong, but it needs to be fine-tuned, trained, educated along the way. And it also, a lot of that is about partnership with customers. I think that part of this journey is that you cannot deploy it as we use to deploy, say, cloud software. Here's your product, go and execute your workflow. I think that the fundamental nature of AI is different. So first, we need to rethink the process itself. We need to understand, like, if right now my AI agent is doing all this work, this means that my process will be changed. And like, we need to realize this. It's not just me deploying a workflow, it's me deploying a new workflow and reimagining it at the same time. Like, simple questions. If I have all of those agents going and doing all of those use cases for me at the bank, how and who will be monitoring them? Like, what will be an interface of a person who manages agents? Those are new processes that a bank or a manufacturing company needs to establish. Otherwise, like, you cannot have it in isolation, because AI will also from time to time, hopefully not a lot, but will make some minor mistakes. But you need someone to address it, to act on this, to troubleshoot it, and then also use it to make it better for the future use. Yeah, so that's a great example of like real partnerships that needs to happen between a provider of this solution and a service and a customer. And the way how we work now with a lot of businesses is that we tend to create very strong partnerships and very strong alignments, and we deploy our teams alongside our implementation partners into the customer side. We sit down together, we look at processes, we think about like how exactly it will be working for this particular organization, because otherwise it just won't fly. It won't fly further than a pilot. And that's why you've probably seen some of those studies where people say, a lot of AI deployments fail. And that's the reason why. Because if you want it to be really impactful, it's not just, you cannot treat it as just a deployment of a software, because if you want to make a significant transformation outcome, you need to make this an organizational change process.
Right. And for those people, it is, sorry, we can cut that. For the people who are listening and not watching this, you won't know, but Andie has a very nice view over his shoulders there of the harbor. So that makes me Boston Harbor. It makes me want to ask a Boston question, if that's okay. You're building in Boston, right? And you're building a unicorn in Boston. And we'd love to hear what you think about that ecosystem here and how it's maybe contributed to the growth of your company.
Yeah, Kara, very simple answer. Boston is the best city in the world, and I truly mean it. Yeah, actually, I remember when I came here 10 years ago, and I told my wife, she asked me like, well, why we are relocated to Boston. I told her it's the best city in the world. And she was, no, come on, like, but now she kind of agrees with me. So
good.
I keep coming back when we fight. I keep coming back to this example. I told you it's true, and it's true. So half joking because we now fight. So in regards to the city, I think that there are multiple tremendous benefits to Boston. It's an incredible tech ecosystem. We have access to the best talent. It also allows you to see those best companies working together. It's also a very welcoming environment if you want to build a business. You have a lot of support. We work a lot with State of Massachusetts Department of Economic Development. So we're in touch. We also, City of Boston, like the city itself, is our customer. We deploy some of the agentic use cases together. So the city is very near and dear to our heart, and we get a lot of support and a lot of help. And also the kind of state market itself is just a big economy. Like if you look at the GDP, number of companies, number of organizations, we love being here, and we also love taking advantage that we're local. We have headquarters in downtown, and a lot of local businesses, they come to us because they want to work with someone who understands their business.
That's great.
I'm curious, just off the cuff, how many of your, I know you manage a team, and this is maybe old intel, but I know I've heard that you manage about 100 different people in your team. How many of them are AI agents or agentic?
We have a lot of agents. So, the overall philosophy, Anna, that we have is that we are obsessed with using our technology, like obsessed. So that's kind of first thing that comes to mind. And the reason being is that if you don't see it at your workplace, it's very difficult to be passionate about this in front of a customer, right? So
Mm.
we just got to feel it and experience it to go and evangelize it further. So that's why we look at Creatio's own system as kind of state of the art, the best possible solution that we want to have. So this comes from multiple elements. We are trying to identify as many useful use cases as possible, and also we identify use cases in both categories. To give you an example of Agentic category, we recently moved, we have multiple tiers of support. So customers come to us with some questions, sometimes issues, and we need to address that. And we have 3 tiers of support. A basic that works with the simplest questions, and we have like a few levels that are above that. So we were able to do our standard basic support all through AI. So we do have just a few people that oversee those responses, but now we even renamed our support to AI support, from basic package to AI support, because 99% of all of that is managed by AI agents in Creatio. So we see the log, we understand the responses, we understand the issues, and also we keep fine-tuning and adjusting the AI to make it more precise every single time. So that actually allowed us to take a team that has been working on this and allocate them to higher tiers and more complex cases, so that our customers are getting more white glove service, more attention, and more human touch, right? So that was an extremely cool example of how we work with that. Or another example that we love, it's publicly facing. So we use an AI agent in our academy. So we create a lot of academy materials because we are a very fast-growing company. We also sell through partners, and we have 700 partners across the globe, and they have hundreds of employees. So we need to educate thousands of people. And every time when we release something, we just need to constantly invest into academy materials. So right now we use AI to produce all our classes, and we probably quadruple the productivity of all the materials that we produce. But also we constantly we're getting feedback that your platform, guys, is so much comprehensive that, like, when I want to go to your documentation and understand a small thing, like it was difficult to understand where to find it. So we deployed an AI on our academy, and now you don't need to do that. So you are coming to a chat and you say, I have a question about this particular issue, and it will kind of surfaces you the information, provides you with a link, and actually we get 95% of satisfaction. So we are resolving like 95 out of 100 questions from the first response, and our customers and partners are happy with that. And we continue to fine-tune it, enhance it, and that provides another great experience for our customer and partner communities.
Well, congratulations. I mean, I feel like we want to follow your success and follow the trajectory. I mean, I love your attitude that you're a unicorn and that's where you're starting. This bodes well for the rest of the world. We like to say we're proud to represent a Boston state of mind to the rest of the world. You're certainly a world player. And congratulations on making Boston your home. I'm glad that you can represent, and I look forward to a part 2. This is just the beginning of my curiosity with what Creatio can do. We certainly appreciate you adding to the positivity and the solutions in the world. So Andie, please come back, and Kara, let's drop in and just see what we can do with AI. We always talk about what can building AI Boston do with AI in the future. So maybe there's a collab in the works, Andie.
Oh, I love that.
Let's do it. So we're so super positive, and it's Boston is not a city where we operate and headquartered. It's very near and dear to our heart, and we also love building community around ourselves. We also have like a big AI event every single year in Boston. It's usually in fall, so it's called Agentic Leadership No Code Days in Boston. This year we did it in Four Seasons, overlooking a beautiful park. So we will announce the new date very soon. But we would be happy to see you, but also the audience at this event.
Wow, we put that on the books, right, Kara? I mean, any excuse.
I know. I'm like looking at my calendar. Write it down.
Yeah.
Get outside and love the positivity, friend. So thanks for spending some time with us. We look forward to that. And for our listeners, we will absolutely post in our community. It's a pleasure to meet such an astounding person as you, and congratulations and wishing you lots and lots of success. It means good things for the world. Thank you, friend.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Andie.
Thank you for joining us on Building AI Boston. Stay tuned for more enlightening episodes that put you at the forefront of the conversations shaping our future.